Good. How's the bung eye? Here we are at Harry's for another edition of the Queenstown Sports Show. Some snowy goodness over the weekend with some good conditions up the mountain, fresh snow. This week in our sports news, we cover semi-finals rugby. We've got a soccer lads trip to Nelson.
You're on the wrong side of the road, you snail-eating puss!
And a big achievement for Matt Schneider of the Southern Stampede. Also cover some ski racing that took place at Coronet Peak. And special guest, Alanna Columb. Come on down, come on out. How are you? Hey. Alanna, thank you for coming down to Harry's today. You've been chilling in Naseby for a bit.
Yeah, I've just been hanging out there. It's nice, yeah.
Yeah. What is it? 3,000 feet above water level? Is that what that's the town slogan or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Our restaurant at Naseby Lodge is called 2,000 feet, so
Okay,
yeah.
There you go, give or take a couple.
Something like that.
We'll catch up with Alanna in just a moment, but first, sports news. Leading sports news, we're going to tap into a bit of rugby. Fan rugby, follow a bit of rugby? Okay, let's just, it's fine, okay. Unfortunately, the Queenstown-based teams are out of finals contention after both Arrowtown and Wakatipu rugby clubs lost on Saturday. Arrowtown went down 8-6 to Upper Clutha in Wanaka, and the old Waka went down to Cromwell, also 8-6 in pretty sloppy conditions. A little bit sad the dream is over, but c'est la vie. Upper Clutha will host Cromwell in the final at the Wanaka Showgrounds this Saturday at 2:30. And unfortunately the Wanderers also went down in their semi. They lost to the Invercargill Blues 59-15, bit of a pumping. Some slightly more positive sports news with the Sky City Stampede. They whipped up about 26 goals over the weekend when they swept the Devils. Friday night it was 13-7 the win, and then Saturday night 13-4. Congrats to Captain Matt Schneider as well, who's racked up 200 NZ IHL points. Good on you, Matt. This weekend they're off to Dunedin to play the Nananana Thunder. Hopefully they can get another couple of wins. Oh, do you care about hockey? No. Keep that out. The QT Queenstown women's hockey team finished third over the weekend. Upper Clutha ended up winning that competition, well on to those ladies. And in soccer, the Queenstown team lost again, 5-0 to Nelson. In Nelson, they had about 3 flights to get to the game. They flew from here to Christchurch and then to Wellington and then down to Nelson. Bit of a mission morning of the match, and yeah, unfortunately didn't quite get in the first half, so 5-0 the score there. Congratulations to Josh Harris, who's completed his American adventure with the 7th place finish in Vegas. Here's the wee tyke here. This is at the IJGA World Stars of Junior Golf Championship, so good on you, Josh. Powerful. And disc golf, the Tucker Beach Rush Disc Golf Tournament is on this weekend out at Tucker Beach. All the best to everyone getting involved in that. Time to see what went down at Coronet Peak over the weekend with the first stop of the Interfield Ski Racing Series.
6:30 a.m. and the post went up classing racing conditions for the first junior interfield competition up at Coronet as marginal. But that didn't stop grommets getting suited and sugared up to be race ready. This is the first race out of a 4-part comp that bops to Cadrona, Treble Cone and finishing up at the Remarkables. Any child aged 6 to 16 can enter, and for this first comp there's already 180 entries. This is definitely Tim Caff's scoping ground for the Olympic skiers of tomorrow. And one thing's for sure, it's way better than running at the kids' duathlon. Oh, it's great to be a central kid, eh?
So cute watching those little grommets throw themselves down a mountain.
Yeah.
How young were you when you started getting up on the slopes?
I was 18 months.
18 months?
Yeah.
So you're probably skiing before you're walking.
Yeah, somewhat.
Unreal. We are talking to Alanna Columb, an absolute legend around these ways, 3 times New Zealand downhill women's champion. I think you peaked about 10th in the world at some point and just generally probably the biggest ovaries in all the land. It's a pleasure to have you here joining us today. obviously 6 months ago you probably hit a pretty sort of sketchy part in life with the accident at Gorge Road. What happened there?
Well, that one to me is a little bit of a freak accident to a degree. They're big jumps, but from what I heard, I really overjumped one of them and landed on the up ramp of the second, and you're only in like a half face helmet. Because I did my optic nerve too, it would have smashed into the handlebars, moved it that way, and so
Oh man.
Yeah, it smashed the optic nerve, and that's like what the story in the Mountain Scene was about last week. Is usually it doesn't open again, and they said it would be at least a year, and then they'd be to talk about and look into surgery. So it's pretty amazing that she's open and going good.
Yeah, and that you're in a coma for a few days and battled away in hospital, and now you look sort of right as rain and almost ready to get back on a bike.
Yeah. It's just a different pace of life at this point. So it's a big trauma, but it's just a chapter of life at this point. Yeah, so it's all good.
Has it been tough to sort of try and rein it in a wee bit?
I'm slower. I walk probably 2 to 3 hours a day, and that's kind of how I sort of spend my time, especially at the moment. And I meditate all the time.
Right, okay.
I've actually been quite embracing the more chilled out kind of pace of life. It's interesting because you really start understanding your mind on a whole nother level.
So essentially, anything with 2 wheels, you sort of make it your bitch, really.
I just love the 2 wheels. I've got a trail bike, a jump bike, a downhill bike, road cycle, and then my dad, obviously with off-road, I have motorbikes and buggies and trials bikes. So pretty much anything that can go fast off-road, I've got the access to.
Do you have a boy toy?
What's a boy toy?
Is it a man?
Just a man.
A guy. Yeah, you got some. Doesn't have the 2 wheels, but you can still ride it.
Unfortunately, that's not in my life. I'd like it though. I can sign up for a boy toy.
Oh, what should we take today? Dirt bike, downhill bike, Ken. Come on, mate.
Jump on.
And was it growing up with a few brothers? Did that help sort of shape your extremeness?
I just grew up as them, I suppose, and so it wasn't like the difference between being a boy or a girl. And if you wanted to keep up and go for the fun, you had to ride. So it definitely would have helped in that sense. And my dad's pretty hardcore, so it's kind of like get up or hurry up, or so. Yeah, no, I suppose they definitely shaped things for me.
So you are planning on eventually getting back in the bike? I sort of think I read in the scene that it's sort of,
Yeah, it hasn't scared me in any way. Like with the head injury though, a lot of stuff sort of changes, and like how you perceive things and just the timing and coordination. So I'm really enjoying, like it's been 6 months, so I'm just really enjoying, getting in nature but at a different pace. I am really looking forward to the day when the energy changes and I can jump back on a bike, but Dakar is one that really stands out for me in the next 3 to 4 years.
Right, that's a dirty big off-road rally.
Yeah, it's amazing. But that's motorbike, so definitely really wanting to tap back into my moto riding, because that's how push bikes came about for me.
Okay.
So I learned, for the last 5 years, I've been learning how to ride a push bike, whereas I grew up on motorbikes, so I know them pretty well. As far as sports go, I've kind of moved past that anyway. I sort of did it about a year ago in that sense. I'd like to race world enduros at some point. But I'm wanting to work with kids. Really like trying to connect them with nature and, the meditation and the yoga, having them sort of slow down and processing themselves and their thoughts. So definitely I'm really excited about working with people.
Yeah, cool. Give back a little bit.
Totally.
Push the extremities and then also sort of take some time to namaste.
Namaste.
Oh, fuck, it's been so nice to talk to you about this. It's been sort of getting some warm fuzzies over here. So thanks again, Alanna Columb. Happy birthday as well.
Oh, thank you.
Woo, 30.
Yay.
6:30 did you say earlier? We don't do that. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll do it all again next week. See you then.